Hold on a second. Let me put my headphones
If you want, you can pull it up. Also, you want me to send you the website, or do you? I mean, I'm sorry, the YouTube channel.
in. No, I don't have that.
You just tuned it in. Global and worldwide. Hitting you on the one with no delay. Because it's the fighter's voice. The fighter's voice. With your fighting host, Richard Ortiz. And the formidable co-host, Mr. Cole Escobedo. Remember,
Okay, I'm ready.
every fighter has a voice.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Productions Studios. We got a great show for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fighter's Voice Knockout Podcast. If you're not here, you probably got your ass kicked because we got a great show for you today. With us, we have a living legend. I mean, this man, we could just go on and on, man. I just want to let you know, this guy used to write for the New York Times, New York Daily, was a journalist. So he didn't want to just leave his skills there. He wanted to work for one of the strongest men in the boxing era, and that's PBC Communications. My man is the vice president, and I'm talking about Tim Smith. Tim, welcome to the Fighter's Voice Knockout Podcast, my man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. That's a great introduction. I started looking around for the guy you were talking about.
Oh, man. Hey, iron sharpens iron, my man. Shoot. You know, when you're slick and you're ready to go, you talk to the best. I thought you already know.
I should know, right?
Yeah, you should know, absolutely. I mean, because, you know, doors are being opened for you. You opened doors when you first started, and now you're starting to prosper, you're starting to blossom, and you're starting to blow up completely. To be a part of this, 2020, the biggest fight of 2020, the rematch. They're calling it the Mecca of the heavyweight division. When you hear that and you hear people excited and tickets are selling, MGM is going crazy, I mean, their arrival. How does that make you feel, man, to be a part of this?
You know what? It's a great event, man. I'm on this side now, but when I was writing, I can't remember anything as exciting as this, other than Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. I think was the last fight that I personally felt like it was a big grand event. Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson was interesting, but Mike was over the hill. Mike was ready to hang it up at that point, so it really wasn't something that was like the magnitude of this. So I mean, this is a tremendous show, man. You have two undefeated heavyweights going at it. They're considered number one and number two in the world. That's a rare occasion. So, and the excitement's building. So it's a privilege to be involved in something like that.
I mean, you're involved in this, and see, the world didn't get to see it just one time. They get to see it twice. Come this Saturday, all the hype, all the expectation, all the glory, all the preparation. Man, these guys are going to collide and meet, and someone's, it may sound crusade, is going to go. It's going to go bye-bye unless, heaven forbid, we have another draw.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't need another draw, and I don't think you're going to see another draw. I think you're going to see, rather conclusive and concussive end to this thing. And obviously who I'm picking, but I don't see.
Who are you picking?
I don't
let the fans and the viewers and the followers know, who does Tim Smith have? The vice president of PBC, man. Who do you have?
I got Deontay Wilder, man. I'm Wilder all day long.
Till this day, or just today?
Till this day, man. Till this day. Are you kidding? Till this day. I'm riding with Wilder all the way, man. No joke.
Hey, man.
100%.
His right hand can change the outcome of any fight. And we're talking about not just this era, but I'm talking about if you were to put him back in Jack Johnson's days, Jack Dempsey, I mean, you name it. My man, I mean, he just turns the lights out on people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's a dangerous. You know what? I haven't seen anybody with that kind of single punch knockout power. People talk about Tyson's power, and Tyson's power obviously came from his hand speed. But Tyson will hit you with 2-3 shots before you went out. But Deontay hits you with one shot, man, and it's like you got struck by a bolt of lightning. You going down.
The only one that I can comparison, and let me know how you feel about this, and I'm thinking Big George Foreman. I mean, I really can't compare them, but I do want to say something, and they're not the same weight. But do you remember Tommy the Hitman Hearns when he would touch people?
Yeah, he had that whip, man.
Exactly.
He had that whip. You know, he had that whip, and he would hit you with that, man, and it was over. You know, and Deontay's long and lanky like that, and
exactly.
You know, got those long arms, and he generates a lot of speed and a lot of power. So, you know, I like my man. So,
you know,
it's fun to watch.
No, he is fun to watch. He's a fan favorite, and once he's behind the podium, the microphone, the man is an educated man. I mean, he kicks fast historically. I mean, almost like Tupac, man. I mean, ahead of his time. The stuff that comes out of his mouth, it just don't make sense. It makes dollars. It makes millions of dollars. I mean, think about that.
Yeah. No, you know, he hasn't even touched his earning potential yet in terms of what he's going to do, in terms of how big he's going to be in the sport. He's just now beginning. You know, he's at the cusp of being a superstar. You know, and you can feel it growing. The more he knocks people out, you know, the greater his stardom grows. This is the star platform. This is the star-making platform because he's getting, you know, star-making treatment on Fox and on ESPN. And, you know, that has never occurred in the history of the sport where you have two major networks, you know, covering a sport and I mean, covering the sport of boxing and talking about the boxers, you know, and promoting and marketing the fight the way that both of those entities have promoted and marketed this one.
We're talking about two, if we were in The Godfather back in the days, we would talk about two different pioneer families meeting together, putting differences aside for the fans, the viewers, and even the fighters. This is historic. This is going to be historical, not just for boxing, but for America itself. What's your take on that?
Well, I think this is bigger than the time when, you know, when Showtime and HBO got together, you know, for the fight with, you know, with Tyson and with Lennox Lewis, because you have, you know, a terrestrial network in Fox that has, you know, 190 million viewers, and you got ESPN with 100 million viewers. They're on cable and everything, but so, you know, you have these two forces at work, the biggest sports network and, you know, a major terrestrial network combining their efforts to get behind something. And to me, you're right, it is historical because it's the first time it's been done, and it's you know, and it's bigger than anything that anybody's ever undertaken.
And for you, it's just another day at the office, my man. I know you're in Vegas already. I got to ask you, how's the energy up there right now? I'll be landing there tomorrow, say about 2 o'clock. But how's the energy feeling there?
Well, it's not gonna. You know what? It's not gonna hit its fever pitch until tomorrow at 2 o'clock when you get there. You know,
is that right? Okay.
We waiting on you to get everything turned up. So
yes, sir. The fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. Because I'm just like you, my man. I'm simply knocking out the competition.
That's it. So
now, did you wake? My man. Let me ask you this: did you wake up to take second today?
Did I wake up to do what now?
To take second or to take first?
No, you don't wake up every day to take first place.
Exactly.
Man.
And see, Deontay Wilder, Team Wilder, they're ready to take first.
Absolutely,
I just had to throw that in there because I could feel the energy off you, man. You got me pumped up already. I can't wait to get to Vegas.
We had a great grand arrivals today. People were excited, you know, but a lot of the British fans haven't gotten here yet. So we expect we expected to really get live when that happens. And, you know, so the weigh-in on Friday, by the time we get to the weigh-in on Friday, it's gonna be off the hook, man.
Oh man, I'm excited, man. To be a part of this historic moment. You know, when you first started in journalism, I'm going to take it back real quick, and then I'm going to bring it back up. Did you ever think you would ever be a part of this? I mean, you used to dream, and I'm sure you dreamed very big. But did you think you'd be talking to the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters at this time, and being a part of the biggest boxing event, we'll say in boxing history?
No, never did, man. I mean, you know, this is not something that you would think about, you know, being involved in. You could, you know, say, yeah, maybe I'm going to be involved, but this isn't something you could sort of plan on being involved in. Not where I came from as a writer. You know, I always thought I'd be on the other side of this thing, you know, writing about it, but not being in the center of it, you know. So But it's something to be involved in.
Well, you know what? You are involved. You, Callie Swanson, you guys are taking care of business. You got Aaron Korn from Top Rank. I mean, you got the heads of the heads. All the bishops are in place, and you're ready to say checkmate on the whole world, man. Because you continue to bring big events. Oh, okay. What round is this going to happen in?
I think I can see it. Mid to late fight. I can see it from 5 rounds on. I mean, I can see it doing that because I think there's obviously a feeling out kind of process. And,
sure.
Despite what Tyson Fury is saying, he's going to step to Deontay. I don't think that's going to happen because I think, the old saying is when somebody gets tagged or gets hurt, they revert back to what they know. If he steps to him and he gets tagged with that power, he's going to revert back to what he knows, which is, playing keep away. So, but I can see Deontay catching him, from the 5th round on.
To his credit, he's very elusive, has a great jab, has a decent 1-2, and is able to give Deontay a little bit of fits because of his heights and his attributes. But at the end of the day, man, it comes down to the smoke. It comes down to who's no joke. It comes down to who has the power for the hour. And I'm feeling, man, till this day that Deontay Wilder is just, he's not overlooking him, but he wants to put his stamp. He wants to put his mark on the box, especially the heavyweight scene, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He as he says, one face, one name, one champion, Deontay Wilder. That's what his goal is. So that's what he's after. And this is just another guy standing in his way. I always thought the toughest fight that he would actually have would be against Luis Ortiz. And once he got over that hurdle, I really don't see anybody out there that can stop him.
I want to talk about that fight briefly.
Mm-hmm.
That fight, the first fight was very close. It was very competitive. There was some back and forth rounds. And you got a man willing to jump right back into the mix and erase any doubt. I mean, not only is that courage, that's confidence, and that's telling the whole world, I know exactly what I possess, and he showed the whole world exactly what he possessed. That fight, he set traps, and he baited Ortiz in, and that was all she wrote as soon as he touched him.
Yeah. And you know what? That showed his ring IQ. And people sleep on his ring IQ. So, he's, I was talking to him today, and I was telling him, when you go to the Olympics, they don't hand out bronze medals, the silver medals, the gold medals at the airport when you get off the plane.
No, they don't.
And they don't do it as a consolation prize when you get on the plane going home. You got to be able to box.
Exactly.
And he proved that to me when he won the title, and he beat Stavern the first time. He boxed his ears off.
That was a good fight. That was a very competitive fight. And you know what? That fight kind of set a stamp. That set a tone for Deontay Wilder.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you visit the camp and you're around these fighters, when do you know, okay, this guy is focused, he's more than ready, as opposed to, without saying names, okay, I'm not too sure about this fight going in. But you seem to be 100% confident. You seem to know exactly what's underneath that Christmas tree, man. Remember when you were a kid and you knew what it was, you just couldn't open it till Christmas? Well, Christmas for Deontay Wilder is this Saturday, man.
Yeah, well, that's what he's looking at. That's the big prize for him. This is the big prize for him. Because this fight establishes him as the heavyweight champion of the world.
What kind of message do you think he's going to send the heavyweight division? If he's successful in a victory, in a knockout victory, is he going to be the most avoided fighter in the heavyweight division, or is he going to be welcome and groomed as if to say, come on, Deontay, there's still some other heavyweights out there that want to test your skills?
I don't think he's going to be avoided because I think, people are always going to be willing to step up to the challenge because he shows a certain level of vulnerability, and so people always think that they have the ability to take advantage of that, So I don't think he'll be avoided.
You know, when you see Deontay Wilder, I've seen him on YouTube. I watched my share, and he was getting great advice from Lennox Lewis. We just posted a picture a little while ago with you, Evander Holyfield, and Deontay Wilder. What kind of feedback did he get from the old school fighters, from the legends, and what advice has he used today that you can tell that he has in his arsenal?
Well, you know what? Lennox Lewis was showing him how to throw that jab from the shoulder, like straight. You know, and, you know, Evander has talked to him, you know, about the importance of being an American heavyweight champion and what that represents. So, you know, guys are, you know, he's still listening to those old heads, but he also realizes that he's got to blaze his own trail. That's you know, he's got to be the one to carry the mantle for this generation. And he realizes that there's going to be a next generation that's going to come along and eclipse everything that he's done. And he's not mad about that. You know, he's not mad about that because it's a natural order of things.
So he's ready to be the face, not only for the heavyweight division, but the welterweight division, the middleweight division, the junior welterweight division. He's ready to be the face of boxing. Is that safe to say?
The face of the whole sport. He's willing to put the whole sport on his shoulder and carry the whole sport into the next generation.
I mean, your team is ready to go. One thing I need you to do, I need you to dig down deep into your trickery bag because you have that potent in you, almost like a king cobra. When he bites somebody, yeah, you may walk away, but that venom's going to kick in. So what I'm saying, you're feeling the vibe, you're feeling the energy of the hottest podcast that you've ever been on in your life. When Deontay Wilder is successful with that knockout victory, we got to get Deontay Wilder on the Fighter's Voice Knockout podcast. After he relaxes, does what he needs to do, we got to get him on this show.
I will work as hard as I possibly can to make that happen, my friend.
Remember, you're that King Cobra, man.
I'm gonna make it happen. I'll make it happen for you.
And because there's only one Mamba, and he's in heaven playing basketball one-on-one with Jesus right now.
I hear you, my brother. I hear you.
Well, listen, man, I know you got to go. I appreciate your time, man, but tell us one time only, man, what is the energy like in Las Vegas, and what can the crowd expect once the Bronze Bomber walks through those ropes?
Man, the energy is off the chain. I mean, everybody is excited about this fight. You got ESPN doing shows in the lobby of the MGM Grand. You got Fox doing shows in the food court area of the MGM Grand. Everybody's excited about this thing. All the fans are here talking about it. I can't describe it. It's Tyson-like. When Tyson used to fight here, man, it used to be a certain energy when he fought here. There were boxing matches and there were Tyson fights. And this is as close as you get to this is as close for old heads out there. This is as close as you get to the energy for a Tyson fight.
Well, listen, man, I know you're going to be running like crazy, taking care of business, man. But when I see you in Las Vegas, man, I got to go up to you. I got to introduce myself, shake your hand, take a picture with the man who's making it happen, man. I mean, because when you're employed by Al Heyman's like that guy on The Wizard of Oz where they say, ignore that man behind the curtain. He doesn't exist. I mean, Al Heyman will be in one spot, and you know what? Like, beam me aboard Scotty, he'll be at another spot. Is that true to say?
He's the man. Although everybody says he's this mysterious thing, I talk to him 3-4 times a day, so he ain't that mysterious to me. So.
Well, when you talk to him, just say, you know what, boss? You know what, Skip? I got a touch of the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition, just like PBC. You guys are running with this. You're making it happen, and you're crushing everybody from left to right, and they all know who is the hottest boxing force in the sport of boxing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know PBC. You know what we do. You know what we do, and you know how we do it.
I know how you do it, too. But, see, when I get to Vegas, I'm going to look for those people where they're broadcasting. I'm going to have to grab a mic from one of them and get down the fighter's voice way.
Hey, do your thing, man. I ain't mad at you.
Hey, man, all jokes aside, man, I appreciate having you on. Callie Swanson said, Rich, you got to have Tim Smith on this show. I had Callie Swanson on about maybe 5 months ago, and she said, you know what, you got to have this guy on. He knows boxing. He loves boxing.
Okay.
The energy is there. And he said you're a walking encyclopedia, man. So I hope I don't lose you. I'm going to let you go, my man. I'm going to let you take care of business. I'm going to look you up when I get to Vegas. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. We're watching you. We're supporting you. And we're waiting for Deontay Wilder to walk through those ropes, man, and take care of business.
Okay, man. Hey, come check me. Check me.
I will.
Okay.
All right, my man. All right, check
Later.
in. All right, bye. Oh, my gosh. Talking to one of the guys who's not just a piece of the pioneer of boxing. We're talking about somebody working for Al Haymon, who is to us, yes, is a mystery to boxing. He's not the dark horse. He is the force to be reckoned with. A lot of people don't know exactly what's going on, and maybe that's better for them. Because once you find out that the man doesn't sleep, that the man's making moves constantly, and to be a part of boxing, when I say a part of boxing, you got Top Rank, you got PVC, and they joined forces for me, for you, the viewers, the fans, so we can admire this Saturday, the biggest heavyweight rematch in 2020. I mean, it's going to be explosive. I want to leave everybody with this, man. Here's the thing. Deontay Wilder is 2-0 when it comes to rematches, and he wipes them out decisively. I mean, there's no ifs or buts to it. So to want to get back into the ring, where a lot of people thought he might have been outboxed that first time, wants to quiet the fans, let everybody know how he feels and what he knows, and to be backed up by PVC, one of the strongest force in boxing. Now, Tyson Fury, top-ranked boxing. He is now an American. I don't care what they say about him. He came into living in America, came in with a mariachi hat with all the Mexicanos on the side selling tacos because they had his back. They actually waited for him to talk Spanish, my man. That's what the type of following he has. You felt the force of Deontay Wilder. Now you're going to feel the force of the Gypsy King. Two champions collide. And I say champions because I'm an old school when it comes to a champion only loses his belts inside the ring. None of the stripping stuff or none of this back and forth stuff. We can go on and on about that. And I know I'll get text messages and emails. Richard, you don't know what you're talking about. But the Gypsy King against the Browns Bomber, I'm looking forward to it this Saturday. MGM Grand, sold out. If you're not there, you better get there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just a taste. Because coming up next, we have one of the legends, and not only in MMA, but in boxing. We're talking about Jacob Stitch Duran. Not only an actor, he's been in Creed 1 and Creed 2, but if he walks through the airport, man, you may mistake him for Edward James Olmos, man, because he looks like the American me man himself. I mean, I'll let you judge for yourself, but the guy is a legend. When it comes to handling cuts, handling the corners of a boxer, showing his attributes, his tenacity, his wits, his know-how, and his knowledge to the sport, I mean, I say he's one of the best, but he can easily be said he's second to none. Because you talk to any cut man in the business, and they're going to refer to Stitch, Jacob Stitch Duran. And you know, I'm going to give my dude a call right now as we speak. I know as we were talking earlier, he was working with Gabriel Flores Jr. from Stockton, California, who's also going to be on the undercard of this big event. So let's see what we can do with my man Stitch right now. So we can just talk some boxing and get this thing going, and I don't want to lose any of you guys. I want to keep you guys in tune here. So we're going to see what's going to go on right now.
Mr. Richard, what's up?
Stitch, my man, how we doing?
I'm doing all right, bro.
Are you ready to rock and roll, my man?
Whenever you are.
Man, I'm ready to rock and roll. You know, I gave you a soft introduction, man, but I'm going to give you a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of the strongest, one of the most largest, the living legend himself. And we're talking about Jacob Stitch Duran, who is not only a genius in MMA, but he's a genius in boxing. You know what? Back in the Bible, when the woman had the issue with blood, she reached out to the Lord and her blood stopped. She was healed by her faith. You're somewhere in the Bible, too, stopping that blood, my man. You seem to do that for a living. When your attributes are called upon, you seem to deliver, man, and stop the bleeding, so to speak. Welcome to the Fighter's Voice, Stitch. How we doing?
Hey, Richard.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, man. Either it's my phone or your phone, but you sound like a chipmunk.
Is that what it is?
Can we hang up and call again?
Yeah, I think I better do that. I don't want to be a chipmunk. Let me do that right now. All right. Yeah, KP does sound a little bit of weird. Oh, is it feedback because he's watching maybe? We'll see right now. Later with that chipmunk shit, man. Can't be having that. Ain't no chipmunks in here. It's not Christmas time. Is that better?
Hold on.
I can hear you now, loud and clear.
It's a little low.
Okay.
Let me call you back. Let's try it.
Okay, call me back.
Hold on.
Only on the Fighter's Voice, man. We'll have stuff like that. We got chipmunks on here. We got pimps. We got whores. We got like mice and men going around here. But nevertheless, the show goes on. It goes on for you, the viewers and the fans. So we got to pick this up right now. Stitch, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man.
Is that better?
Thanks for having me on board. Yeah.
You know what? You missed that kick-ass introduction, man. But it's all good. I got the living legend on the line right now.
Okay. But anyway, I got you.
Stitch, let's jump right to it, man. Whenever a fighter is in need, we're talking about different levels of fighter. We're talking about amateurs. We're talking about contenders to undisputed heavyweight champions. You get the call from the Gypsy King. Talk to us about that phone call you received and what he's expecting you to do come Saturday. Are you there, my man?
Yeah. Hey, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm having problems. Can you repeat that again?
Okay.
I like the. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
You sound a lot better now.
Thank you, man. You sound good too. You got like that Edward James Olmos voice, man. I thought you were gonna start narrating right now.
Right, cool.
You know what I mean? Okay, you get the call from the Gypsy King from Team Fury. What exactly were they asking you to do? To come on board as a team? To have you there just in case? Because last time he was a bloody mess, and you shut the blood off for a living.
Yeah, exactly. It was that. You know, it was I guess discussed between Team Tyson and Bob Arum, Top Rank, and you know, they asked a lot of questions about me and other cut men, and it seems that my name kept floating to the top, and got a call that you know, Tyson wanted to meet me in the gym, so met him a couple of weeks ago, shook my hand and welcomed me to the team, and you know, put out a nice tweet that I was with the team and all that, and that's how it happened. You know, literally I had been hearing talk like about a month before I met him, and so you know, the conversations are there, but from what I was told last night, that Tyson Fury and definitely wanted me on board.
You know, I'm sure you watched his last fight. What goes through your mind when you watch a fight and you see the bleeding continue to pour down? What are you thinking at that time?
Yeah, well, you know, Jorge Capetillo is one of my good friends, and I saw the work, and you know, he was just kind of thrown into the lion's den, you know, not fully experienced and you know, prepared to handle that type of cut, and you know, I met with him like 3 days after, you know, maybe 4 days after, and I sat down with him and I told him, number one, that I was proud of him, that, you know, he kept Tyson Fury in the fight under those devastating circumstances, you know, and then he brought up the image of a cut man, how important it is. Plus he made the Mexicans proud, you know, but I sat down with him and I said, look, you know, here's what you did right, and here's some of the things that you could improve on. Let me show you what you need to do to improve, because on the next fight, all eyes are going to be on you. And, you know, he was very receptive, and, you know, he understood that, you know, he was in a very delicate position. But let me add there, Richard, that he is one of the guys that told Tyson Fury that it was best for him to hire me instead of using Jorge as a cut man. Even though he is going to be the corner with us, he just won't be the cut man. So I thought that was very honorable on his part to know, you know, that such an important fight, and you can't afford to have any type of mistakes.
Oh, you know what? I love that. He's still Team Fury, and yet Team Fury became stronger with the addition of Jacob Stitch Duran. And for someone to realize that and kind of not take a backward step, but just kind of move over a different position to make this team stronger.
Yeah, and that's what I call an honorable man, because you know how this game of boxing is. It's a lot of times it's about themselves and not the team effort. And he realizes that, you don't want to be put in that position again. And if he does, then, he understands that, I'll be able to do it. I've been in those positions many, many times. So, and I was telling him last night, and as a matter of fact, after we finished training, Tyson Fury talked to Jorge and told him, hey, man, I want you in the corner with Sugar Hill, Andy Lee, myself, and so he'll be the fourth man in the corner. And I would just, good things happen to good people, and Jorge is one of the good people.
Yeah, you know what? You're not the only one that says good things about Jorge. And going into that fight, the magnitude of this fight, what's that energy like with Team Fury?
It's high. The energy is extremely high. The focus on fighting is extremely high. It's been I've been there 2 weeks. I mean, but I've got to see his strong. When he's on point when it comes to sparring, he had some tough heavyweights he was working with, and he was on point. Sugar Hill has worked on techniques that Emmanuel Stewart, because I'd worked with Emmanuel Stewart for like 12 years with Vladimir Klitschko, and I'd worked with Sugar Hill, which is Emmanuel's nephew. I'd worked with him, with a volume of fights. So I know the Emmanuel Stewart style, and they're implementing that and setting up game plans. Not just going in and throwing punches, but you throw a punch because this is what this position requires, or here's how you set this punch up, and all that. So it's been a very strategic type of training.
I'm glad you brought up the late, great Emmanuel Stewart. I had the pleasure of meeting Emmanuel Stewart, not once but twice, and we would talk every once in a while on the phone. And remember those old school phones? The last time I saw him, I believe, one of the times I saw him, it was the weigh-in of Eric Morales and I want to say, gosh darn it, Manny Pacquiao. Well, anyways, he's calling me down. He goes, look, Richard, and he's going through his phone, switching over and over and over and over. He goes, look, because I didn't have a cell phone. I had a home phone. He goes, look, it said 559-661-81, whatever it was. But he wanted to let me know I had you on my phone list. So very nice guy. One of the few trainers, if not the only one in the world, that would train his fighter for a knockout. He didn't like it going to the decision. He would train his fighters to knock people out. Plain and simple, period. When he had Tommy Hearns, Michael Moore, the list goes on, man.
Oh, yeah. No, for me, it was just an honor even working with him. And you're right. I used to go to a radio show called the 13th Round, and every time I called Emmanuel for an interview, he always responded, never said no.
No, that's good. You know what? I got to go through the archives, man, because I got some stuff in the garage. How's that reception? I got some stuff in the garage of me and Emmanuel talking on the phone, and I got to release some of that stuff, man. Very nice guy. We did some phone interviews. And back in the day, I'd go to Radio Shack, and I'd rig the phone so you could record the conversation. Of course, I let Emmanuel Stewart know that. But, we did what we had to do back in the day. I used to write for the Madera Tribune, and that was in Madera. That's like, 25 minutes away from Fresno. But listen, man. Iron sharpens iron, and I say that numerous times, but they want the best around them. And you happen to be the best at what you do for this particular heavyweight showdown, the biggest fight of 2020. To be a part of it, once again, of something special, man. How does that make you feel personally?
Oh, I'm super stoked. I always, go back to being that little Chicano that grew up in the 209 and got where I come from and to where I'm at right now. It's been a long road. It's been a very fun road to get to, but, it's always nice to see the world from the top of the world. And, today, on top fights is what, it has to be this one and Vladimir Klitschko when he fought Anthony Joshua in front of 90,000 people. Those two really kind of pulled up to the top now.
That had to be historical, man. Just that ring walk alone and that energy that it would just feed off when it would just erupt. Let's talk about the 209 again. I texted you earlier and you said, okay, I'll be working with Gabriel at that time. Let's talk about Gabriel Flores Jr., who has a great opportunity to be on the undercard of one of the biggest boxing events for 2020. How's Gabriel looking? And what do you think of this platform that he has the opportunity to expose his skills and attributes to the entire world?
No, I think it's great for, Gabe and his father. It's a great opportunity whenever you fight in Las Vegas, it's a great opportunity. But whenever you fight in Las Vegas underneath the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, it doesn't get much better than that, and Gabe now is in a position record-wise and age-wise and experience-wise where he's going to start getting a volume of fans involved in his style of fighting. So, I haven't seen him train. They came in today, actually. And they're, I guess, on the way to the gym right now. So I'll be talking to him tonight. But I'm sure, every time I work with him and spoken to his dad and all that, his training has always been impeccable. So I don't see that as a problem. And I think it's a nice coming out fight for Gabriel Jr.
I'm excited for the whole family, man. I mean, things are really starting to change and blossom in their favor. And you can see the maturity in Gabriel. Even his body is starting to mature in that way and starting to settle a little bit. Starting to get that man strength and just starting to get his ring IQ is just through the roof, And
exactly.
Yeah, you being in the corner, that helps out a lot too, and especially Senior. Senior he's just been putting his nose in grinding, man, completely. Lives and sleeps it. The last time I talked to him, he said, Richard, I live and I sleep this stuff.
He does. No doubt about it. And like I mentioned today in an interview, is, working with Gabe Flores, because when Gabe Senior called me, he was with other people and all that, and fortunately he chose me, and I went up in Rapids and did a test run and all that. But their dedication to this game is one of the reasons why I'm with them. I'm with them for a couple of volume of reasons. I'm with them from the 209, and of course, they're in the Chicano era like me, and so this is a fight when they first started, because with 4 rounders, there's not no money to make. It's not about the money.
Yeah.
Richard, it was about giving back, and if I was going to give back to anybody, let's do it from somebody from the 209, and we've really created a real good bond with Gabe and Junior and Gabe Senior and myself.
You know what? You're a class act, bro. I mean, I've said it over and over again. For you to give back when you really didn't have to, but you remember where you came from, and to you, it's like it's like the honorable thing to do. It's like you wouldn't have it any other way.
No, you're 100% right. In these situations, it's not about the money. It's about giving back, and then not only that, but I want Gabe to know, because there's events like at the last show that he fought. I wasn't there because I was doing another show, but I want them to know how important it is to have quality people in your corner and to take care of the fighter. That's the bottom line: is take care of the fighter, and if they follow the examples that I've set work in the corner, and they implement those, then that's a gratification I get.
That's good, man. I got to ask you, man, what's behind the scenes in Jacob Stitch Duran? Because you always got something going, man. I mean, you'll just be kicking back, relaxing, eating a tortilla, and then you'll get that call, and before you know it, it's another opportunity for you, man.
Richard, I tell you what, man. Like say, I'm not a real religious guy, but somebody upstairs loves me. There's a whole bunch of things going on, and well, let me start off by the project that they're working on. I wrote that book, From the Fields to the Garden, growing up as a farm worker in the San Joaquin Valley and making it to Madison Square Garden. Well, this month they're starting to film a documentary on my life called From the Fields to the Garden. That's going to be a 90-minute program. But when I signed with these guys last year, when Triple G fought, he fought at the Garden in New York.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be our last filming, but that Triple G was fighting of all places at the Garden, they sent a 4-man crew to get that footage, so we got some prized possession. And I'll be back in the San Joaquin Valley, in the beginning of June, and I'll be going back to Granada and the migrant camps where I grew up at, and so we'll be filming my episodes of The Fields. And so I'm really looking forward to that, and working with Tyson Fury here. I teamed up with one of my old sponsors, Mark Zucker, that owns an apparel company called One More Round. People thought it was my company because I used it so much, right? And when the UFC kind of got rid of the sponsors, well, then he went. And anyway, he ended up, we're back together. We're just now debuting ourselves. And I told him, I said, I become sponsors, would you mind if I created an outfit to resemble yours and put my sponsors on it? and he puts his hand on my shoulder and says, Stitch, do whatever you want. So,
Wow.
so some of my sponsors are, of course, I have a CBD, working with a CBD company called CBD Science that has created a cut cream for the healing agents. When a fighter gets cut, they sew them up.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this in the bare knuckle fights. We give them the cream. We take a picture, give them the cream. They apply it every day, and once a week they'll send me a picture to see the progress. The second week they'll send me a picture, and by then the cuts look great. So we've been doing that, and got a couple nice sponsors. Image AR that you'll see on my vest this Saturday. They're a high tech. It's too high tech for me, but they created a 3D model of me, and you're going to be able to take that. The fans will be able to lock onto that, and there's just so much stuff. And then I'm working with another. I'm talking with so many creative things, and I just signed with Pack Sports Entertainment. Dizelle Benton is Benford is a movie music mogul, and he brought me on board, and so a lot of good things are happening, bro. And I'll be able to highlight.
You are truly blessed, my man.
Yeah. No. I listen. I understand, and I know I'm blessed. So I'll be debuting my One More Round cornerman jacket designed specifically for the Tyson Fury fight, and then I have my sponsors on it. So I'm really stoked.
Well, what you need to do is when you're coming down to your hometown, man, and you want to come down with the real Mexicanos, man, and you want to come down where it's really happening, you got to slide through Fresno, California to the Fighters Voice studio. Bring your video team with you, bring your documentary acts with you, bring your sponsors with you, bring whatever you want, man, but make sure you bring some beans, rice, and Jesus Christ, and we can make this happen, and I'll be blessed together.
My man, yeah. Of course, there's plenty of room on the mountaintop, and when I moved from the valley to Las Vegas, I told my friends, I said, look, man, I'm taking a bus, I'm going to the top. If you guys want to get on the bus and go with me, let's go.
That's right.
And nobody did. But I always extend that offer out that, there's, it's so much nice to share, because you can only eat so much of the pie, right? So if you share it, then everybody's happy. But if I could take somebody on the journey with me, then I'll do that. So that's something that I'll keep under my hat, and definitely if you need to do anything like that, then you're the one I'll call.
Hey, absolutely, man. You know what? A quiet mouth don't get fed, my man. And you know what? It's all about opportunity, and you got to ask. The Bible says, ask, you shall receive. Don't get me preaching right now, man. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. All right, man.
But it's good to listen to you get blessed, man, and for you to prosper. I've interviewed you before, and to hear you come exactly from the bottom all the way up to the top. And to other cut, man, you've opened the door. And people that haven't even contacted you yet, people that haven't even had the privilege and honor of meeting you yet, you're making an impact on their lives, because they're saying to themselves, oh, I want to be like that guy. I want to be like that guy on the Rocky movie. I want to be like that guy on Krieg. And I know you can't talk about it again. Can you hint? Will we see Stitch Duran on the big screen again?
Well, I hope so. It's, one of the things is when I was filming Creed 2, I'm in the dressing room. It's, Michael B. Jordan, myself, as I'm wrapping his hands and his buddy. And I'm telling him how proud I am of the young brothers that are doing good in Hollywood. And he said, Stitch, he goes, we went from being actors, now we're writers, producers, and directors. And he says, I'm directing Creed 3, and you're with me as long as you want. So, we'll see.
Wow.
I haven't heard anything yet. But, for him just to give me that statement, like, say, Richard did, everything's based on a respect factor. And for Michael B. Jordan to look me in the eye and offer me that position is great. So if there is a Creed 3, if Michael B. Jordan is directing it, or if not, then I think I'll be with him. So
there you are.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens.
There you are. I mean, you look like a natural up there, man. There's where you belong. I mean, the whole world gets to see you in action. They'll get to see you in action this Saturday. But I mean, the big screen, man. You're so comfortable there. You're a regular. And like I said, pretty soon Edward James Olmos looks like you. People are gonna go to Edward James Olmos and say you look like Stitch, not hey Stitch, you look like Edward James Olmos. Ain't no American meat to it. It's American Stitch.
Yeah, well, let me tell you a little story attached to that, right? So I'm walking into the MGM, and the first person that sees me, this lady puts out her hand, and she goes, "Oh, nice meeting you, nice meeting you." And what, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, to the MGM day. It's so everything's boxing there. And she thinks I'm Edward James Olmos. I said, no, that's the other guy. But
there you go. Look at that. We're posting a picture right now of both you guys together. My gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had text Edward James Olmos, because we became friends. We did an independent movie together, Midnight After 7, and Monday After 7. And I texted him. I said, it's nice when people stop me and they want my picture. They ask for my autograph, and then they think I'm you. And he starts laughing. And so, people call me Stitch all the time.
Well,
so it does happen.
There you go. There you go, man.
Not a bad thing, though.
No, well, the compliments returned, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Shoot, put me in that mix. I'm going to be like you guys. I'm going to be like one of them old bad dudes. I'm going to gray my hair, man, and wear some glasses, and then maybe I'll just be in Krieg 4 or something.
Let's do it, man.
No, man, I admire what you do, man. Nothing but good things I hear from you constantly, that you treat the high-profile fights exactly like you treat just somebody making their debut, man. And that goes a long way. Not too many people do that. I mean, they're picky and they're choosy about what they do, but your feet are still on the bottom, and you continue to give back. You're giving back today to the viewers, the fans, the followers, that you're on the Fighter's Voice Knockout podcast, one of the biggest fights of 2020 coming up, and you took time out of your busy schedule to come on this show and to talk about Tyson Fury, talk about Gabriel Flores, talking about your upbringing, and saying that you love the Fighter's Voice, man. Does it get any better than that?
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned that before in our last conversation we had on the radio, that I think you're doing a tremendous job, and I think the Fighter's Voice is only going to go up. So don't forget the little people, bro.
No, man, but you know what? Hey, I'll receive that. I'll receive those words of prophecy, and when we do go up, guess who's going to be the very first guest on the show? Jacob Stitch Duran.
My man, I appreciate it.
Hey, man, what can the viewers and the fans expect when Tyson Fury walks through that ropes?
Well, I expect a lot of action, that's for sure. I mean, I think the energy level is going to be as electrifying as it was when Joshua and Klitschko walked into the arena in front of 90,000 people. I did the bare knuckle fights last weekend, and Paulie Malignaggi was there, and of course, we're talking about the Tyson Fury fight. He looks at me and says, Stitch, all eyes are going to be on you, and I know that, everybody, because the interviews I've done has been about the cut. And I told Tyson Fury yesterday when we were finishing up camp, I said, I did some interviews in Florida. Everybody's asking about the cut. But I told him, I said, the only ones, everybody's concerned about the cut except you and I, and he smiles and just kind of nods his head. So, I'm not concerned that I'm glad to be part of this. Cutmen, we're insurance policies, and, you get what you pay for. I've seen some fighters that have lost great opportunities because of that major cuts, and the cut man didn't know what to do or didn't know how to control it, so that became a problem.
Exactly. Hey, I wanted to let you go, but you know what? I just got a question in from Toscano's Boxing Promotions, who's going to be putting on a show March 21st in Stockton, California. They have a question. Out of all the heavyweights you worked with, does Tyson Fury remind you of anybody? What's his work ethic like, and who would you compare him to?
Yeah, that's a great question, and no, he doesn't remind me of anybody. When that's really a good question, because when he fought Vladimir Klitschko, I thought Vladimir was just going to demolish him, and I thought Vladimir Klitschko had a bad day. But then when I saw Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder, I became a big fan of his because he is so unorthodox in offense and in defense, and as crazy as he is, it's tough to mimic that. There's no fighter that has had that type of personality with those type of skills. So he's a horse of a different color.
He is. He does. I mean, they broke the mold with him. Even in his whole press conference, I went to go see him in Fox Studios in L.A., and his wardrobe, my man. I mean, he's living large. He likes to be loud, and he loves the attention, and he knows how to handle himself as a human being.
Yeah, I told with my son and my daughter with the arrival of the fighters today at the MGM, and when Tyson Fury gets up on the stage, I told my son, I said, one thing you don't know how to do is dress. So I'm glad I don't have his Taylor's number.
No, man. But you know what? Not everybody can get away with it. I mean, Tyson Fury seems to be the only ones that can get away with it. You never know what he's going to wear, what kind of show he's going to put on, what he's going to say to the viewers and the fans. But you know what? He loves what he's doing. And, Ali Setback said it best. He said, Richard, you do what you love. You never work a day in your life. And Tyson Fury, to come back from the experiences that he had, the downfalls, the weight gain, the depression, the heart, and now to come back, revive himself, be blessed, and give back to the public. You said you're not too much of what'd you say, of a holy man? Is that what you said? But somebody is doing it, and he does let you know that Jesus is alive. I know he's alive, and because you know what? Every morning that I wake up, I'm just so grateful and thankful. But look at Tyson Fury. He was on the verge of death, the verge of suicide, and now look what he's doing for us, man. All of us, because we get to see him.
And, exactly. And that was the thing when he fought Vladimir. He had a 3-year layoff, and he just wasn't taking it serious. Bye, baby, love you. Sending my grandkids are taking off.
Oh, okay.
And but on this one, he's at a proper camp. He's focused. He understands that his whole life is going to change one way or the other. And, God, I'm just glad to be working with him.
You know what? I got to let you go because I can go on and on. You know the way we do it too, Stitch. Because I know you got some stories. I know you got some stories. But
of course I got stories.
Yeah, but you're in Vegas. I want you to enjoy yourself, enjoy your grandkids, and just enjoy your stay. I'm going to be landing tomorrow about 2 o'clock, man. And depending on what your schedule is, I'll be going to some of the activities that are taking place. The weigh-in, the press conference, what have you, leading up to the big fight. But our pastor's going to cross, my man, and we're going to have to sit down and have some cold water or something. Something
cool.
cold.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be at the MGM tomorrow, I'll be there because they got the press conference, and they got the workouts for the undercard fighters and all that. So it's an entertainment week all week.
I'll see you there, man. I'll be
Richard,
repping. Okay.
Thanks for everything, my man, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, man. My pleasure. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Wow, what a treat for the viewers, the fans, man. I mean, to hear from one of the best cut men in the business, in the sport, MMA, bare knuckle, boxing. When you have him around, you can't help but pick up your game. You can't help but be the person you've always wanted to be because you got no choice. When you got somebody else, it's just like when Kobe was on the court. He didn't tolerate or accept a novice or non-effort. Everybody brought out their A game when he was around. And Stitch in the corner, everybody's going to bring out their A game. I hope the man is really not going to have to go to his A game because I hope it's a very competitive fight. I hope that any cuts on either fighter have nothing to do with it and gives everybody, the viewers, the fans, the followers, and supporters exactly what we're anticipating January 22nd, MGM Grand, sold out, pay-per-view, top-ranked boxing, PVC boxing, and that's a historical event. We're going to call it quits in a little while, but we're going to be dropping something for you. I'm going to give you my take on Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And the keys to victory, who's going to win, and why. So at this time, you guys can come and deny everything that I say that I'm crazy, but I'm going to break it down for you guys. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. That's www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. We're going to be back tomorrow with Co Escovedo. We got Combate MMA's fighter, Jose Avalos, who's going to be in studio with the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Co Escovedo. They're going to talk about the big event that we got coming to Fresno, California, the Save Mart Center. I'm going to let Co handle that. Next week, we got calling in studio. We got Robert Garcia who's going to talk to us about Mikey's big fight with Jesse Vargas. And on the same day, we're going to have Stephanie Frosto in studio to talk about her fight at Save Mart Center, Combate MMA. Wednesday, we're going to have Adrian Guzman, who is the main event in that Save Mart Center card. And also the man himself, Mr. Mike Fromowitz, will be in the studio here on The Fighter's Voice. We're making it happen. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. We're simply knocking out the competition. It's a wrap here in Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richie.
Never down for the count. It's just another wrap. Thanks for listening to the Fighter's Voice Radio Show. Catch us again next week. Same when, same how. And always stay connected to the Fighter's Voice on social media. So, on behalf of special guests and the whole crew right here at the Fighter's Voice Radio Show, saying see ya next week, right here on the Fighter's Voice.